So let's talk about these two Casio watches. This is part of my Casio watch playoff series for 2024. Just putting up my watches in like a bracket system, and if I had to pick one based on these two, which one would I pick? And to kind of just move on. This is the last Elite 8 matchup that I have. On the left, I have the Trek PRG-30, mostly hiking watch, going up against the vintage A1100 by Casio. This is, I think, their vintage line. So very old school, digital, all metal, like it. So normally I like to wear the watches when I talk about them, but because I'm gonna be going back and forth, I'm just gonna hold the watches and I can't wear a watch on each wrist. It won't fit. So I'm just gonna talk about these watches, and at the end, I'm gonna pick one winner to move on. So let's talk about the Trek first. I won't go into too much depth. I talked a lot about it in the opening round, and I have a review on this. So if you are interested in that, you can watch those videos. But I do want to mention, especially in direct comparison to this, legibility-wise, this is nice. Strap-wise, this is nice. This strap is very comfortable, and I'm really glad that I took a chance on a Trek, because originally I wrote them off, and it's just a really great watch. It's light, very easy to read, which is to me the biggest deal. And the fact that it's solar is also extra bonus. I don't use any of the ABC things, ABC features here, the altimeter, barometer, and compass. I'm not that much of a hiker, but I will say this watch is really great. Just a lot of great stuff in this watch. The display is great. The only weakness I would see in this particular comparison is the thickness. This watch is very thick, so as I'm wearing it, although it does fit my 6¼ inch wrist, 2 inches from here to here. It does fit it, I think, okay. When I look at it from the side, it is quite a lot of thickness, like a hockey puck. So in just the comparison, going back and forth, it is, that is a drawback. But talking about the vintage A1100 now, when it comes to this particular watch, it has a very unique look. Screen's very small, obviously, in comparison to this one. It is all metal, which I like. It's very unique in the design, and it does stand out. One of the things I noticed about this watch, and I know we shouldn't be wearing watches for other people, we should be wearing it for ourselves because we like the watch, we think it's cool. But I did notice, like, as I'm wearing this, I was kind of thinking to myself, oh, this looks like a smartwatch. It has a circle on it, it's just a regular display, no big deal, right? Versus this watch, if you wear this, people know this is not a smartwatch. This is a very unique timepiece, and it has a lot of character, I think, to it. So a very different look. Weight-wise, I'm thinking this one's heavier. And unfortunately for this one, when you hit the display, if you want the date and the day of the week, you gotta hit an extra button for that, just because the screen is so tiny. And it's one of the weaknesses, I think, of this particular watch. I wish they would have just included everything, but I get it from a design standpoint, really just looking for the time. But for me, I find it as a weakness. But it is thinner than the other one, in the Trek. And it just overall is a very unique look. So if I had to pick one, though, it's pretty obvious for me. I pick the Trek. Probably 100 times out of 100. And it's not to say that the A1100 is a bad watch. It's a very unique watch, but as I mentioned in my previous video, it kind of falls off. When my collection was smaller, it was one of my favorites for the office, because it was so unique to have a watch long, like tall and long. Sorry, excuse the dropping. This one looks like almost any other watch. Like, if you didn't know, it's just like, oh, it's like a smartwatch. Like, it's a circle. It's like a Samsung watch or something like that. So it doesn't have that unique look, at least from a distance. But I do like how comfortable the strap is, how light it is, and the visibility is huge. I don't have the auto light on, but that auto light feature is great, as I do have a hard time pushing the button here. But it does loom up real nice, the whole screen. Just a lot of positives about this watch, and I'm really happy that I got this watch. It's my first Trek, very surprised by it, and it has encouraged me to look at other Treks that are around this similar size, because just the materials and just how nice this watch feels around my wrist. So this is the watch that moves on to the Final Four, which is very exciting. I mean, we have a couple of dress watches in the Final Four and a couple of digital sleepers that, frankly, I would not have predicted even from the beginning. Even though I'm doing all this myself, I would have been like, no, I don't think they would be in the final four. Just the way the brackets worked out and the matchups worked out, but that's sort of the fun of this whole exercise. So this one moves on to the final four, and thanks for watching.